Hey guys, so I've been planning on doing a BM guide for a while and never really did it. But here it is. A few people have asked me for this, and I've kind of always wanted to do a guide video. I'll just jump straight into it. So for my talents, this is the general setup I'll have for talents, and to be honest, it doesn't really change much. For hero talents, I always go pack leader. I've never really gone dark ranger. I don't really like the theme either. I just prefer pack leader. The stampede's really good, but I can't comment on how good this one is because I've not played it too much. I just don't like the theme with, you know, how I'm playing. The Beast Mastery tree I've not touched in ages, so I would keep this as is. For the Hunter tree, this one, there are a few tweaks depending on the matchups. So the ones I tend to tweak are Disrupted Rounds, Tar Trap, and the improved snaring. When I'm playing against like warrior or like 2 melee DPS, I will keep this stuff. If I'm not playing against double DPS, the Tar Trap feels a bit pointless because what are you slowing for? So I will tend to bin these. Go for probably pathfinding for a bit of movement speed because this will help you get into positions to allow you to CC better. So that's quite good. Then also wilderness medicine is pretty good to heal your pet up. It means you don't have to use exhilaration to do that. Sometimes when you when you use exhilaration just to get your pet fully healed, it kind of feels bad because obviously then you don't have it for yourself. So having a stronger mend pet is quite nice. And then it also removes or has a chance to remove magic debuffs on your pet. So that's quite cool. If I'm going into a druid, I will tend to take, I'd probably bin improved snaring and take Kodo Tranquilizer. Again, like you might have a mixture of, you know, remove Tar Trap, take pathfinding, whatever, but like just generally these are the stuff I'd swap. Into Resto Druid, I'd take this Kodo Tranquilizer, which I found quite nice. So for your tranquilizing shots, what it does normally is it'll remove an enrage and a magic effect from one target. What it does with the Kodo Tranquilizer is it'll remove one additional magic effect from up to 2 nearby targets. So this should, if they're all standing next to each other, the enemy, this will remove like 3 magic effects. I'm pretty sure, like 1 from each opponent, possibly even 2. But regardless, even if it's just 1 from each person, it's quite good to get 3 like debuffs off. So this I find is really nice into Resto Druids. I think that is probably it for the stuff I'd swap. The rest I don't really touch. So that's it for those main talents. Then for PvP talents, I will always take Chimeral Sting. I will always take Survival Tactics. And Kindred Beasts, I sometimes swap. For the Beast Within, and this is situational. I can take Beast Within against stuff like Priest or Warlock because it removes and gives immunity to fear and horror effects for both you and your pet, and it gives attack speed boost to your pet and ally pet. So I play with my friend who's plays Unholy DK, so it boosts his pets as well. But immunity to fear is quite nice against those classes. But if you're against stuff that have roots, so like Resto Shaman with Shaman in general with Earth Grab Totem, Kindred Beast is really good. It gives you half the cooldown on Master's Call, so it goes from 45 seconds to 23 seconds, which is really nice. And it also applies that, like this effect, it applies to nearby allies. So this is really strong as a, you know, take this majority of the time, and you can swap Beast Within for like Warlocks, Priests, stuff like that. Chimeral Sting, like I said before, I'll never swap. So I find this super strong. It's generally all like 90% of the time I'm going to use this against the enemy healer. If I'm playing against like a mage or like a caster DPS, I'll sometimes use it on that. It all depends on the situation, but this is really strong because it gives like these cycles of effect. So every 3 seconds it'll rotate through these. So at first this 90% movement speed reduction, then into a silence, then into a reduced damage and healing effect. So this is super nice. And then survival tactics is really nice. So when you feign death, it reduces the damage you've taken by 90% for 2 seconds. So it doesn't last long, but 90% is a huge damage reduction, and feign death is on a 20-second cooldown. So every 20 seconds, you have this massive damage reduction, which is really useful for surviving. So yeah, these two I'll never really swap. There's nothing I'd really pick in replacement of those. Direhawk, never used. This is to do with misdirection. I don't know why you'd use misdirection in PvP. Maybe with this talent, I've literally never taken that. Hunting pack. This one, like, you might be able to take, but I'd take it sometimes on Survival Hunter. On Beastmaster, I don't see the point. So it means your aspect of the cheetah is a lower cooldown, so it'd go to 1.5 minutes. And it also gives that effect to your allies. I don't see the point in taking this over anything else. Wild Kingdom, 1 minute cooldown to swap out a pet. This, I don't see the point. Like, basically, these three are so much better than everything in here, apart from like the potential swap for the Beast Within is the only thing I would find. Maybe Diamond Dice if you feel like you're against a comp where you get super pressured and you want to freezing trap the second DPS. But freezing trap is the reason for this is freezing trap is dispellable. So unless you're using it on the healer can dispel it. So if you want to use it on the DPS, you'll want to use this for like stopping a lot of pressure. But I've never used this as Beastmaster Hunter. I've used it a couple times as survival, but that's not what this guide is. So yeah, so I would generally just stick to these. This should do everything for you, cover all your bases generally. Right, so next I'll go on to like how we open and like our general rotation. So I've seen some people who like to start with their pets, like going and attacking the enemy for a bit while they stay in stealth. I don't really do that. It might be better to like min-max some damage, but I've played against enemy beast hunters, beastmaster hunters even, who do that, and I've beaten them. So it obviously doesn't majorly affect the matches. If you want to do that, you know, do as you wish. I don't do that. So for my opener, I'll go into stealth. I will, if the enemy healer is not a stealthy, I'll set them as my focus. I'll try and get into a good position to where I can hit my my main target and I can CC the healer. So then I'll use my stun on the healer into a freezing trap, then open with a barbed shot into Bestial Wrath into kill command, Cobra shot, kill command, barbed shot, kill command, Cobra shot, kill command, barbed shot, wait for that, kill command, Cobra shot, barbed shot, kill command, Cobra shot, kill command. So if you can't tell by now, the rotation is super fucking simple. Basically, you are using barbed shot if you have more than one, if you've got 2 stacks, sorry, not more, well, more than 1, 2 stacks, yeah. So you're using that for that. Then you're using Bestial Wrath off cooldown, but so you'll go barbed shot into Bestial Wrath into kill command. So that's, and then into Cobra shot into kill command. And essentially every time you're like, essentially what you want to do is always use a barbed shot or a Cobra shot before a kill command. So barbed shot's better. It gives you focus over over a period of time. And also both of barbed shot and Cobra shot give you this buff up here, Nature's Ally, which buffs your next kill command. So that's why you always want to use it like barbed shot, kill command, cobra shot, kill command, barb shot, kill command, etc, etc. And you kind of want to just choose whether barb shot or cobra shot, depending on like how much energy you have, and depending on if you've got 2 stacks of barb shot, you obviously want it to go on cooldown, so you prioritize that. Cobra shot reduces it, so you kind of weave which one you're going to use based on, like, do you need focus? Barb shot gives you focus. If you got 2 stacks, go barb shot. If you need to waste some focus, use cobra shot. But just doing the blah kill command is how you want to do it. So that's like the opener and rotation. So that will give you a lot of pressure, but you're not gonna do anything unless you're CCing the healer at the same time. So a bit of tips on how you want, or how to CC. So I will have, like, the way I'm doing it is with focus macros. So I got a focus macro for my intimidation, my stun, focus macro for my silence, my chimeral sting, and a focus macro for my kick as well. I think those actually are the only 3. So what you want to do though is, when you're trying to pressure, or what I should say is, every time you have freezing trap off cooldown, you want to look to get freezing trap off. This is I can't remember how long it is in PvP. It's like 5-6 seconds. So that's a long window of the enemy healer being CC'd, and you can pressure the enemy team. Basic CC will be intimidation. That's like a couple seconds into freezing trap. You want to do it better than I just showcased, but yeah, I think this is like, this may be a 2 or 3 second cooldown in PvP. So you want to be in range of the healer when you're going to go for the freezing trap. So don't make it obvious, like when you're going for an intimidation. If you're doing your rotation and you're just kind of waddling about here, that would probably be good, because you can intimidate, run in, freezing trap, and they shouldn't be able to predict that. When intimidation is on cooldown, because this is 40 seconds, it might be a minute in PvP, I can never remember, but it's a higher cooldown than freezing trap. So sometimes you're going to have freezing trap off cooldown and your stun on cooldown. What you can do to try and get your freezing traps off is use a concussive shot, which is your slow on the focus target. So I don't know if I said this, but I have a macro for focus target concussive shot. You can concussive shot, run in, or, disengage in is more so what I do. But you'd concussive shot them into a freezing trap, right? So because this is a 60% slow on them, they're going to struggle to get away from you CCing them. So using concussive shot as your like second form of like, setup is really good, and it's netted me a lot of kills, because again, you want to just be doing as much CC as possible. Like, I can't stress, but CC is what's going to win you the games. It's not your damage. If for some reason you can always one-shot the enemy team, fine, it might be your damage, but the reality is that's unlikely to be the case. So always prioritize your CC, always look for when your stuns, your freezing traps, your silences are off cooldown, and prioritize that before everything else. Your other CC though is going to be your chimeral sting. So I don't know if I explained this earlier, but just to go over it again, this will slow the target. This will then silence the target, and then after it's done both of those, it will reduce their damage and healing. So the main one we're interested in is the silence, but the whole ability is strong. So the first part of it, when it slows, you can use that if your enemy healer is like miles away from their DPS. Sometimes, like when you're playing against like a warrior and an enhancement shaman, they're just going all in, balls to the wall against you, and they are not looking at where their teammates positioned. If you're like between them and their healer, you can use this for a massive slow on them, which, it's only a slow, but if the healer's not in range to heal them, that's essentially they're hard CC'd, right? If they can't heal, they're hard CC'd. So that slow is massive. So that's a really good use for it anyway. Then after that's done, it silences them, so they can't obviously heal. And then once that's done, it will reduce their damage and healing. when they're silenced, that's another good opportunity. So if you've started with a chimeral sting rather than like a freezing trap, when they're silenced, you can go into like a slow into a freezing trap. They can't do anything about it. So like another thing is like priests. Priests have shadow word death, which means they can break your freezing trap if they time it correctly. Obviously, if they're silenced, they can't. If they're silenced, they also can't fade. So things like that. So yeah, the silence into trap is really strong. Or the alternative is like if you do a stun into a freezing trap, that lasts 6 seconds. If I wait a bit, wait till here, so wait till 3 seconds, he should come out into a silence. So like if you time this like well, you can essentially get a freezing trap, and as soon as he comes out the freezing trap, you get like the silence portion of it, because as much as this says like it does some damage, the damage will not break the trap because it's like not enough. All right, I've never found that it breaks the trap. So yeah, you can do that as well. So yeah, I think that's the main things you should know about CC. Outside of CCing the healer, you obviously want to be CCing DPS as well as much as you can. So if you've got Tar Trap against melees, it's useful to chuck this down where they're like running to help your teammate kite. You can use stun on DPS if like for some reason you're not for some reason, but if your DPS is the one who'd CC the healer, you can do that. So it depends how you want to do it. You have binding shot as well, which you generally want to use against the 2 DPS if they're stacked, or like if you're against a caster, you can use this against like the caster and the healer. They might be stacked for some reason. Generally, you want to just try and get 2 of them stunned. But this is also another stun you can use on the healer to keep them far away from their team, because like it'll create this little area where if they run out of it, they'll be stunned. So it kind of messes healers up as well. So you can use it like against just the healer. This is like situational. I will generally use this for stunning 2 or more players, but there will be a point in the game where like, let's say you're 50% dampening or something, and getting 1 stun on a healer into a freezing trap, or even just the stun on its own, will land you the kill. So just, play the game, see what you think you need to do, and yeah. But yeah, that's generally it for CC. Yeah, okay, so next we can talk about the pets. So for your pets, the main thing, let me go to stable. Main thing we're interested in for choosing a pet is the fact that they've got mortal wounds on their pet family abilities. So that's this thing here. So for my raptors, let me cancel that. For my raptors, it's this savage wren. So you can see in the bottom it says mortal wounds, blah blah blah, healing received for 10 seconds. What this does is it's a debuff on the enemy you're attacking, and it reduces the healing they receive. So this is massive in PvP. Like, you want this on whatever pet you're going. So raptors have it, a bunch of different pet families have this, but you will always want a pet that has this in PvP. The other thing you'll want is your pet to be of the cunning specialization. So what cunning means is you get these abilities. So you get pathfinding, which gives you increased movement speed by 8% for you and your pet, which is huge. It allows you to kite. It allows you to get into position for CC. Movement speed is amazing for PvP. So this is a great passive. And you've also got Master's Call. This says 23 seconds, but it's because of the PvP talent. By default, it's 45 seconds. But what this does is it removes roots and slows from a friendly target, whether that's you or a teammate that you've selected, and it makes them immune to it. So this is great for getting your teammate out of slows and roots. So this is really good as well. So yeah, the cool thing now though is, because in the past you had to find pets with the certain specialization. So Raptor was one that's cunning with mortal wounds, but now you can just select you can have a raptor, select ferocity, you get a ferocity pet. To just quickly explain the other one, so for ferocity, you get Predator's Thirst, which is a leech, which seems okay. And you get Primal Rage, which is Bloodlust. Bloodlust is not usable in arenas, so this is pointless for arenas. I guess you could use this in RBGs and like random BGs and rated BGs, stuff like that. So if you wanted to, you could get that. But this is it says a 3-minute cooldown, but this is a 10-minute cooldown essentially, because it gives you a debuff, and then you lose out on your Master's Call, removing roots, which is such a downgrade. So I'd never go this. Tenacity gives you you and your pet 5% increased maximum health. That's decent. Gives your pet damage taken reduced by 3. It's decent, but it's nothing in comparison to being able to kite and the movement speed from the cunning pet. So yeah, always go cunning for your pet spec. I've gone for the raptors, just because I like the look of them. But there is actually a new exotic pet, so this will work for BM hunters, but not for survival. If you play that, I play survival as well. But there's a new pet called it's like part of the Whiptail family, which I've seen recently. I don't really like the look of it, but it's got a really strong ability where it teleports behind the target and slows them. So that is insanely strong, I think. And it also has a stealth on its own ability. So when you stealth, when you camouflage, your pets go stealth as well. There's a separate one, which is quite cool. So that one's really good. And, if you like that one, go for that one. I've used the raptors and they work fine as well. So pick as you want. There is a website called Petopia, which is where you can find out, you can see all the pet families. You can see the ones which have mortal wounds and stuff like that, which I'll put the link to that in the description. But yeah, it will tell you how to, where to find the pet you're after and how to tame it. Well, how to tame it is where to find it, essentially. But yeah, I'll link that in the description. Okay, and then I've got my add-ons and my macros. So for my add-ons, I've got better Blizz frames. This just makes the arena frames and stuff a bit nicer. This is primarily for my party rather than the enemy frames, because I have a separate one for that. Better Blizz plates, which is for my nameplates. It just makes the nameplates look better, and it also gives stuff like these healer icons on your team, and I think you can customize it to do it for the enemy as well, so that's really useful. Mainly I prefer it for my team because I just want to know where my team is, where my healer is. This Danger character stats, this is just to show my eye level on my pieces. I kind of want, there's like a there's an add-on which also shows enchants and I think gems maybe, which I want to swap over to, but this does the job for the eye level, which is kind of what I cared about mainly. But I would also like to know which pieces are enchanted and which are missing enchants. So I can't remember what the name of that add-on is, but if you know, let me know, because I probably want to swap over. I just haven't looked into it. Frame sort. So this add-on is really cool. So what it does is it keeps a sorting order for the frames for your party and the enemy party based on how you set this up, because between when you go into solo shuffle, for example, it can swap the order of who's the top, who's the middle, who's the bottom. I like to have healer at the bottom, 2 DPS on top for both my team and the enemy team, and how I've set it up here basically does that for me. So it's always in the same place. It doesn't get confusing when I'm looking at who I'm trying to kick, stuff like that. So this is really good, would recommend. And they've also got this, they've got these macros where you can set up macros to say arena frame 1, enemy enemy 1, I can't remember what the thing is, but you can do macros for the position, so 1 2 3, and you can also do macros for enemy healer, so you can do a macro kick enemy healer, which is really cool. And they've got a Discord where one of the channels you can at their bots and say oh, hey, Mr. Bot, can you make me a macro which kicks the enemy healer? And they'll give that to you. So it's really, really cool. And I can link the Discord as well for that, because this add-on is really good. Would recommend. And then finally, I've got S Arena Reloaded, which is for my enemy party frames, which you can see here. So it kind of, it shows the class, it shows the DR tracker. So these are the different DRs. Polymorph is in cap. I can't remember what this one is, probably slow or something, I don't know. Root, fear, yeah. So this is really good when you know what the DRs are, but obviously it's hard to know what polymorph is if you don't play mage. You might not know that polymorph is an in-cap thing, and like freezing trap will DR with polymorph. It's hard to know that, and I don't know how you kind of get around that without like knowing what each CC does, but it is what it is. I think like with experience you kind of will eventually know polymorph DRs with freezing trap, stuff like that. But this add-on is really good. It also means like when you right click, it doesn't work now because this is obviously a test. If you right click on the arena frames, it will do your focus. I'll set them as your focus, so you don't have to like right click and click the button that says set focus. So like normally, if it's like this, you right click, do set focus, which obviously takes a lot of time for when you're in the heat of battle. But you can right click the frame and it will set the focus, which is really nice. So yeah, I think that's that for the add-ons. For my macros, and I can also add these in the description. These are all pretty straightforward though. So for my kill command, my barb shot, I've just mixed it in with a pet attack, which just makes my pet go and hit the person I'm going. Without this, sometimes your pets like might stay on an old target, which I found kind of annoying. So this will just weave in like the pet attack with the kill command or the barb shot. This is for my burst. So this is Bestial Wrath, and it just uses the Orc Blood Fury with the burst. So it just gives you a bit of extra damage. Nothing complicated there. Curse, like a cast on cursor for binding shot. So normally for binding shot, if you click here, so this is like clicking on your thing, you get this little area, and then you have to left click on the ground to actually fire it. Instead, with the cursor macro, you just press the button and it just fires it wherever your cursor is. So this gives you a lot of speed. It will be hard to judge potentially at the beginning, like if you're inexperienced, how far the distance is that this will go, because like this is 30 yards, so it kind of finishes like somewhere around here. I don't really know like exactly, but eventually you'll know, and you'll know when you're like in range, when you can kind of use it, how far away from. But for the beginning, you kind of lose that precision. But once you become more experienced, the speed is so much more important. That is for survival. This is a at target focus, cast my counter shot, which is my interrupt. So pretty straightforward. That's just my flare at cursor. Then I've got a macro for this is for casting my Master's Call, the command pet ability, at my teammate. So I can hover over my party frames, click my Control C keybind, and it will use the Master's Call on my teammate. And then I've also got this one, which is to use it on myself. So it casts at me. It's just so that if I'm, for whatever reason, targeting my ally, which is mainly you'd kind of use this like, you target your ally if you're playing like survival and you're using mending bandage sometimes. This just means that if I am doing that, I can still press Control E, sorry, and it will use it on me. So there's just a separation between I want to use it on myself always and I want to use it on my allies. Then I've got so there's another at cursor, target concussive shot. So this is to cast the concussive shot at my focus target, cast my chimeral sting at my focus target, and my stun at my focus target. This is for marksman, and then at cursor my tar trap. So yeah, very basic macros to be fair. With the BM Hunter, it's either an at focus, an at cursor. The only, I guess, special one would be like the Master's Call stuff. But yeah, so that is about it. Right, and then finally for my stat priority. So I'm prioritizing versatility as the main thing for like the damage done and the decreasing damage taken. So that's the main thing I'm after. After that, I'm going haste. So this gives you cooldown on your barbed shot, which is nice. It gives you cooldown on your kill command, which is really nice, and it gives you attack speed and focus regen. So at the moment, this is in PvE like mode. If I just go to the dummies, still not used to getting around Silver Moon. Yeah, so if I go to my dummies, oh, okay, ignore me. So this is what it's at on PvP too. So this don't seem right. Okay, well it doesn't matter. This is like, the point is prioritize verse then haste. So yeah. So what you want to do is prioritize versatility for the damage done and decreasing damage taken. You want to prioritize haste for the cooldown reduction on kill command, the cooldown reduction on barbed shot, the attack speed, and the focus regen. And then after those, you want to focus on getting some mastery. For some reason, I can't see it, but it gives you pet damage. So it increases the damage done by your pets and the damage of your shots and traps. I don't know what by your shots means. Maybe your barbed shot. Oh, I get, yeah, it would be. So it increases the damage of barbed shot and cobra shot. And then it says of your traps, but you have no traps that actually do damage. So this tooltip's probably like old, because at some point you had like a bleed trap. But yeah, so this gives you damage to your pets and your basically just increases your damage. So this is pretty good. And then crit is just whatever pieces. I can't get the other two, which it should be nothing. I shouldn't really have crit on anything. Oh, I guess apart from like the set pieces. So yeah, so that is about it for the stat prior. Right, so I think that should be everything. I hope you enjoyed the guide. I hope it didn't drag on, because I wanted to keep it like quite short and compact. I'll have like timestamps anyway in the well, on the video, just so you can jump around as you need. But if you have like any questions, feel free to post in the comments. I'll always like reply to the comments when I've got time. So yeah, feel free to ask any questions. Let me know if you enjoyed the video. And yeah, hopefully this helps. I'll catch you guys in a bit. See you later.